drawing, click this drop down arrow, click new. And since I'm going to be using millimeters, I'm going to use Acadiso 3D template for metric units and click open. I'm just going to arrange my screen. And make sure to work on parallel projection by clicking this drop down arrow by the view cube and select parallel. And bring your drawing to front view. I'm going to create a new layer. So click this layer properties. Click create new layer. And then click this box to change the color of that layer. Index color. Select red and click OK. Now I'm going to use this layer. So to make it current, click this drop down arrow and select layer. I use this layer to create construction lines. So what I'm going to do first is draw a line. So this is the height and this is half of the width. So L for line. Click anywhere on the screen and move it downward for 27. And half of the width is 27. So move to the left and enter 27 millimeters. Just click this zoom extent. And then draw another guide. So what I'm going to do is draw the Weldolet first and concentrate on this face, because I'm going to use this face to revolve to create the whole thing. So now I'm going to draw another guide from in point. Move to your left for 10.48 as shown here. Now I'm going to start working with the object. So click this drop down arrow and select zero layer. So line. And from in point, just move your cursor downward and click somewhere here. Or you can hit that intersection, or here is good. And then another line from here. So the distance from this point to this point is 14. This cut here, I'm just gonna do it later after I revolve the object. So I'm gonna draw a line from in point upward for 14 units. Another line and bring it downward. So from here to here, the total angle is 180 degrees plus 30, which is from this point to this point, so 210. So bring your cursor below the x-axis and just press the tab key quickly, let go, and enter 210 degree. And since this line here is not given, the distance from here to here, so I'm just gonna use line as a guide from here, and the distance is 2.87, and just bring it downward. Make sure it's straight and then click enter. Use trim command, so TR for trim command, enter twice and remove that, remove this one. Now you can delete those two. Now I'm going to draw a line to connect these two endpoints, and then create another line from the center, which is this one here. I'm going to copy this one so it's easier to visualize. So this is going to be the center of revolution. Alright, so another line from the midpoint here to this point is 18.25. So L for line, enter, and just hover over from the midpoint, move your cursor to the left and follow the green dash line and enter 18.25. Now our line starts on that point. Move your cursor upward for 5 units. Line again, and as you can see here, the angle is 45 degrees. So click that in point, move your cursor above the x-axis, press the tab key quickly, let go, and enter 45. Now trim command again, so TR for trim command, enter twice, click that and remove that. Now I'm gonna trim this one and create another line, the white line, and click that in point. Now I'm gonna join the segments. These are broken segments. I'm gonna make it into one object. So J for join command, enter, and just window the whole thing. Now this is one object. Now I'm gonna revolve this one. So REV, or you can go inside the modeling panel, click this drop down arrow and select revolve command, and select the object you wanna revolve, and specify axis start point. I'm gonna start from this end point downward, or hit this end point, and enter 360 degrees. Now I'm gonna create an object to cut this portion here, this one here. So what I'm gonna do is change this to wireframe and draw a line from quadrant. You can tell you're hitting the quadrant because of the diamond icon, and move your cursor above the x-axis. Press the tab key quickly, and as you can see, the angle is 145 degrees, and enter. Now I'm gonna draw another line. I'm just gonna use red color so it's easier to visualize, and make it current. So layer, okay, line from in point. It wouldn't matter as long as it's over the object. I just want to make sure it's not touching the edge, so it's easier to subtract. And then from here, somewhere here, hit that perpendicular point and that in point. Now I'm gonna check. So what I could do is now join the segments. So type J for join command, enter, and just window the whole thing. Now this is one object. I'm gonna move this one to the other side because this is where I'm gonna start my, it's not revolution, I'm gonna use sweep command. So MI for mirror, and from the center of the object, you can tell it's center because of that circle. Use that as a starting point of mirror line. Bring your cursor downward and follow the green dash line and click, and select yes to erase the other side. But before we proceed, go down to the status bar and make sure your dynamic input is on, polar tracking, object snap tracking, and object snap and selection cycling. First, I'm going to draw a circle to cut this portion here, this one here. And as you can see, the diameter for that is 88.9. So I'm going to draw a circle from the center of that. I could use red color. It's good. So D for diameter option and enter 88.9. I wanted this circle to touch these 2 points here, but if you check the circle, click this drop down arrow, and there's no 2 point with diameter option. So what I'm gonna do is just move this one from quadrant to the center of that object, and then create a line from quadrant downward and move this circle from intersection to shift right click and make sure you're hitting the quadrant. There you go. I'm gonna show you what happened here. See this one? Now I'm gonna extrude this circle. Move. Just eyeball about halfway along the x-axis. I'm just gonna turn off the grid and copy this one because I'm gonna use it later. Copy selection, click anywhere on the screen and click again on the same spot because we don't want that object to move, and enter. Now I'm gonna hide, so select the circle or the pipe, right click, hover over isolate and select hide objects. So I'm just going to change this to conceptual and use subtract command inside the solid editing panel. Select the object you want to keep, right click, and select the object you want to use to subtract. Now we slice this portion here, and what we need is this edge here. So inside the solid editing panel, click this drop down arrow here and select copy edges. I'm gonna copy this edge and this one here, enter, and click this anywhere on the screen, or maybe this in point here, as long as you paste it back on the same spot. So in point again and exit. Now I'm gonna hide this one too, so it's easier for us to draw. So select the object, right click, and select hover over isolate and select hide object. So I'm just gonna delete that. This is just a guide. Delete this one, delete this one. So this is the path that we're gonna use, because I'm gonna use sweep command. The reason for that is I'm not gonna use revolve, because I want this object to follow this path to create a uniform tapered edge. This one here, it's uniform, and I show you the model, this one, and it has to follow this path here, this edge here. All right, so I'm gonna join. So J for join command, join the polyline, and then this object here is join. So what I'm gonna do is bring this to front view, and inside the modeling panel, click this drop down arrow and select sweep. So I'm gonna use this object to sweep, enter, and inside the command window, select alignment option and select no, and then select base point, click that, and select this in point here as base point, and select sweep path, which is this one here. There you go. Now I'm gonna use this object to subtract from the hidden object. So I'm gonna bring my drawing back. So right click anywhere on the screen, hover over isolate and in object isolation. I'm gonna hide this back again. Hide. I just need this one here. Now I'm gonna use subtract command inside the solid editing panel. Select subtract. Select the object you wanna keep. Right click and select the object that you're gonna use to subtract and enter. There you go. Now I need this edge here because I need a circle. So inside the solid editing panel, click this drop down arrow, copy edges, and just click this one here. Enter. Specify base point, so you can click anywhere as long as you paste it on. Click again on the same point and exit. Now I'm gonna highlight that circle and extrude it. So inside the modeling panel, click this drop down arrow and select extrude, and maybe about 30 units. Now I'm gonna bring back my hidden object. So just right click anywhere on the screen, hover over isolate and select an object isolation, and I'm gonna copy another edge because I wanna poke a hole through this pipe. So by the way, this is the run pipe or the main branch, and I'm gonna draw a pipe later, the branch pipe. So this is by the way, this Weldolet is a reducing Weldolet, and I'm using this one instead of reducing T. So this is an option. So anyway, the thickness for this one is 5.49. So copy edges, copy this edge, and specify base point. I could use the center. Click that, paste it back on the same point, and enter. Now I'm gonna offset that because now I have a circle there. I'm gonna offset that for offset and enter 5.49, which is the thickness. Enter. Select that circle and select inside that circle. And now I'm gonna use press pull command inside the modeling panel and just hover over that face. Once it turns, see the color changes. It's blue now. Left click. Release your finger, move to the left, and left click again. Now, as you can see, this one is sticking out because this is what we're gonna use for subtracting. So subtract command inside the solid editing panel. Select the object you wanna keep, which is the pipe. Right click and select this object. And then I'm gonna copy edges again. So click this drop down arrow, copy edges to create the branch pipe. So copy this edge and this edge, enter. Specify base point. I could use the center here and paste it back on the same point and exit. I'm gonna bring my drawing to front view and change this one to wireframe. I'm gonna mirror these two, this circle and this circle. Maybe I'm just gonna use this one 2D wireframe. It's easier. Alright, so MI for mirror command. Select that circle that we just did. Specify mirror line. So click that quadrant and move sideways. So that's gonna be our mirror line. This one here, sideways, and select yes. So we erase the original one. Now I'm gonna use. So inside the modeling panel, I'm gonna use Loft command. Click this circle and this circle here, enter, and enter again. And I'm gonna use conceptual. Now to create the pipe, I'm gonna use press pull command inside the modeling panel. Hover over the face. Once it turns blue, left click, let go, or release your finger. Yeah, the length doesn't matter. So just click anywhere here. And now I'm gonna create another circle here to offset to create thickness of the pipe. So click this drop down arrow, copy edges, click this edge, click the center, paste it back here, exit, and the thickness for this pipe is 2.87. So O for offset, right click to enter and enter 2.87. Select the object, which is the circle, to offset, and click inside. And use press pull command again. Hover over on the face. Once the object turns blue, left click, release your finger and bring it down. Don't bring it down all the way, or otherwise we're gonna poke a hole through the pipe. So just about this height here. Maybe click the center here. There you go. And if I bring this to front view and then use section plane, hover over from the center, click here, bring it down, and I'm gonna view the section here. There you go. So this is the branch, this is the main pipe or the run, this is the weldolet, and this edge here, which is beveled, is where we do the welding, and this one here, this is gonna be the welding. So I'm gonna create a gap for welding. So it's 1.58. So I'm just gonna move this one upward. Move upward for, no, I'm just gonna bring this back so to original state. So front, move, click anywhere on the screen as base point, move it upward for 1.58, and this one here, move downward for 1.58. So there's a gap. Did I do that? Okay, again. Select the object here. Move 1.58. So there you go. There's a gap. And this one here. And I'm just gonna change this to realistic. I'm just gonna change this layer here to this layer and change this one to red instead. There you go. And I think we are done, and thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe and hit subscribe by clicking the subscribe button and hit the bell icon to get notified for the next tutorial. And thanks for watching. See you again.